Good evening everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of Maths Revision live streamed across YouTube. We'll make a start. Tonight we're going to take a look at circles. So we've looked at other topics in the past. Today we're having a look at circles. Now within circles we're going to be looking at the parts of a circle. We're going to be looking at the area of a circle, and we're also going to look at the circumference of a circle. So you may want to take notes. You can pause the video, and if you're watching this on repeat, then you can pause it anytime you need to. There will be some questions later, and you'll be able to pause it then and have a go at the questions, then press play when you'd like to review the answers. So to start with, parts of a circle. So the main parts of a circle are, you have first one is your radius. Now your radius goes from the midpoint of the circle, so the midpoint of the circle to the edge, and that's the radius. Now the radius is important later on when we're looking at finding the area of a circle, because we use that to calculate it. Second important part of a circle is the diameter, and the diameter goes right the way through the middle from side to side. That one is diameter. So if you need to calculate the radius, and you're given the diameter, each half the diameter, and then you get given what the radius is, and vice versa. If you need to calculate the radius, you need to calculate the diameter, double the radius, and then you'll get what the diameter is. Third important part of a circle, I'm not going to draw it because I've actually already drawn the entire thing. It is the circle itself. It's the outside of the circle. So the outside of the circle is called the circumference. So the outside of the circle is called the circumference, and we'll be working out later how to calculate the circumference given either the radius or the diameter. Fourth part of a circle I'm going to go through right now is called a tangent. Now a tangent is a line that runs next to the circle and touches it at one point only. So it'll touch it just one point. So it's a line that runs next to the circle and touches it at one point only. So tangent. So there, to start with, the parts of a circle that I'd like to review. Let's move on to more parts of a circle. So more parts of a circle, we'll look at this one. This is like a slice of pizza. Okay, so it's like a slice of pizza. It is called a sector. Okay, a lot of people get that and this next one confused. So you have a sector, and this one, if it's just a bit of the circle that's been cut off, it's called a segment. Okay, it looks a little bit like a piece of orange. So if you have a piece of orange and you get it, it looks a bit like that. Here we have an arc. An arc is part of the circumference. And you can calculate the length of an arc by using the circumference and the amount of degrees that that arc takes up. And the last one that I'm going to go through in here, I'm going to put it on the part of this segment here, is called a chord. Okay, so there are 8 parts to a circle that we need to know about. you got these for you. So you got a sector, which is like a slice of pizza. You have a segment, which is just part of the circle cut off. You have a chord, which is a line that goes across the circle but not through the middle. And you have an arc, which is part of the circumference. Going back to these main ones here, you have the circumference, which is all the way around. You have the diameter, which is right across the middle of the circle through the middle. And you have a radius, which goes from the edge to the middle. So that's parts of a circle done. What we're going to look at is we're going to look at calculating using circles. Now when calculating using circles, we need to use a number called pi. Now pi is the ratio of the diameter to the circumference of a circle, and pi is actually infinite. They've been working on it for many years now, and they've not found an end to pi. So pi 3.1415, etc, etc, etc. If it was to carry on listing the numbers of pi, I'd still be here in many years to come, and I still wouldn't have finished. What we use as pi in an exam, it will either tell you in the exam, or you can use 3.14 or 3.142. Okay, there is a pi button on your calculator, and it looks like the symbol that's on here now. Now, calculating the area of a circle, we have to use pi. So what we do is we get a formula, pi r squared. Now what this means is we get given the radius, so in this example here, I'm just going to use the radius as 2 meters. I'd substitute it in, so pi times by 2 squared, which gives me pi times by 4. Now if I was to use a calculator, I'll get my answer there. Now sometimes you'll be asked to give your answer in terms of pi. When you have to give your answer in terms of pi, you would just list it as 4 pi. Or, if it was the actual answer, you list it as 12.56 meters squared. That's how you calculate the area of a circle. I want to put 3 questions on the board for you. I would like you to attempt to answer them. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to have a look at these questions and have a go at them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through these very quickly. So to start with, this first one here, I will do pi times by 5 squared. Now that would either, depending on what the question said, would either give me 25 pi, just tidy that up, or it will give me 78.5 centimeters squared. Now this one, so that's the yellow one done. The red one, I will do pi times by 4 squared. Sorry, I appear to be having a couple of technical issues then. So I would do pi times by 4 squared. So again, if it wanted to leave my answer in terms of pi, I'll give it a 16 pi. Otherwise, I would just type in 16 times by 3.142 into the calculator. This one here, the blue one, I have been given the diameter and not the radius, so I need to half that, which gives me 10. When I now have the radius, I can now calculate the area of this circle. So I would do pi times by 10 squared, which would give me 314.2 kilometers squared. Okay. Or, if it wanted me to leave it in terms of pi, I would leave it as 100 pi. Now, this one on the board right now, it's a slightly more difficult one, in that you've been given a rectangle, and it's got